All right, everybody, welcome back here in this Megadeth album review series. We kicked it off into the '90s back at Rust in Peace, went to 1992 with Countdown to Extinction, and of course, this time we're looking at 1994's Youthanasia with the root word youth in front of it, kind of a play on words there. So, very cool album cover, kind of colorful, kind of weird with them babies hanging on there. And I love this shot of Vic Rattlehead holding that baby, real creepy, like a Grim Reaper or something going on. So this album has, to start things off, awesome production. Such a big sound to it, which we'll talk about, especially the drum sound that's going on. Is just, it sounds like war drums on a lot of these tracks here, which is pretty badass. So we'll kick things off with Reckoning Day, where you get that drum sound, that big war drum sound right off the bat, and with just one of Marty Friedman's sickest riffs here. A lot of people, if anyone were to think, I wouldn't even say a lot of people, but I've heard some people think Marty Friedman, was just in that camp of just full-on shredder, doesn't really know any kind of riffing or anything. I've heard that, mainly because like his work with Cacophony and all that, but, man, that guy has some sick riffs, If one is to think that, I don't think they've listened to a lot of Megadeth's 90s material because there's just sick riffs all over it. Reckoning Day is one of them, and one of the best songs off here right off the bat. This one's got a really, again, that riff, and I even love how the ending, it's just those drums banging, and that kind of closes things out. Then you hop on to track number 2 with Train of Consequences, another top tier, one of my favorite tracks. And it's got this kind of offbeat kind of riff going on with like the picking pattern and everything going on with it. And on top of that, it's got kind of this chorus that kind of climbs a ladder and kind of takes you on a bit of a ride. So very cool chorus on Train of Consequences. And like I said, one of my favorites off here. I'll throw it out here that Dave Mustaine's voice on here sounds incredible, which we'll see in a few tracks here, like his really good singing voice that he's able to come up with off here. So, not that he's ever been bad at singing before, but he shows he can even kind of slow it down on a track here shortly. But track number 3, possibly my favorite off here. Probably my favorite off here, Addicted to Chaos. You talk about just, again, these war drums are kicking it off, and then you just kind of subtly hear that riff going on, and that riff just, man, it makes you just want to march, into war, again, to bring it up. It's just got this badass riff that just, man, it pumps you up every time I've ever, played this song, going somewhere or something. It just gets me pumped up. Addicted to Chaos. And I love playing this one on guitar too. It's really fun. And particularly the most fun part is that kind of offbeat little fill before the chorus, that no, like it just got a weird timing with that, but it's really fun to play. This song is just, the guitar work on this is phenomenal. I love how that same kind of fill later on kind of comes back during the first part of that solo. So Addicted to Chaos, man, and what a hooky chorus. I love the ending of this one, where Dave's kind of belting out, the chorus and everything. And just the melody of that is amazing. Then we go on to track number 4, which is probably the most popular track off here, and for good reason, I think. And this is also the one where Dave's voice really gets to shine as far as singing goes. Is A Tout le Monde, French for something I forget. I've looked it up before, but man, what a cool song. He started off acoustic, and Dave's, kind of singing softly and everything, and it's like, wow, Dave Mustaine and Megadeth and the boys, they could kill a ballad, and it's, at the same time, it's pretty dang heavy with, that main riff going on. And I love how the chorus is all sung in French, and this is another one that's like top tier on this album. I love this song. Again, even with it being one of the most played or most popular songs off here, I think it's for good reason. They tried to write a commercial ballad and they succeeded, and I think they did it damn well. I'll take this song over like the ballad of Nothing Else Matters, which is a good song. Not throwing shade at Metallica. But I'm just saying I like this better as like a hey, we can do a ballad too, thing with Megadeth. So then we go on to Elysian Fields as track number 5, and this one's sick. I really love in the chorus of this one, kind of the background vocals singing along, chanting like the Elysian Fields, and then you got Dave kind of in the forefront of things singing. And this is a track that kind of gets lost in the shuffle, I feel like, for some people to kind of, forget about, but it's a really damn good song. It's one for me that I've kind of forgot about in the past before too, but I've always, anytime I kind of go back and as soon as I hear like that opening lick, I'm like, oh, okay, I remember this one, and it's awesome. Then we go with, man, this is another one of the best here, The Killing Road. Man, come on. This is like top 3 or 4. The chorus and the lyrics of this one are very hooky, lost my mind, lost all my money, lost my life to the killing road. I mean, it's such a cool lyric, and the way it's just kind of, chugged on it, the riff and everything, especially during that chorus, and then Dave's just shouting it at you, in a sense, is just really, really badass. And this track, I'm telling you, The Killing Road is a top shelf Megadeth track, much like a lot of these on here so far. Then we go with track number 7, maybe one of my least favorites, but I mean, it's really hard to say off here. But I mean, I would say maybe between this one and another one we'll talk about, it's probably one of my least favorites, Blood of Heroes, which is cool. It's got there's kind of another moment where there's kind of some like a background vocal kind of chanting that is pretty cool in there and pretty melodic. And really the melody in that chorus is the main kicker here. And even the pre-chorus it's so hooky, it kind of sounds like it could be a chorus, where like the heroes never die, that part really sounds like it could be like the ending of a chorus, but instead it leads into an even more hooky melody, which is cool. But I'd say, I mean, again, it's very hard to pick my favorites off here. I would say it's maybe this, it's between like maybe 3 of them, and even these 3 songs I love. So, and the next one I would probably say is my least favorite, which is Family Tree. This one has a really cool chorus in it as well. Very hooky. Again, these guys have kind of really delved into, kind of hopped out of the thrash game a little bit and really went with the more melodic, but very heavy, just very heavy metal approach. Kind of how Metallica did with the Black Album and such. And Family Tree, it's not one that jumps off, the disc for me when I'm listening to it. It's a good song, and it'll kind of get in your head or whatever, but it's never been one of my favorites off here. And I think it's talking about incest. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's what it sounds like. Which, is whatever. I mean, just the song in particular is just not one of my favorites. But Youthanasia is then track number 9, the title track, and I forgot just how damn good this one is. Where I was used to, I'd maybe include this as maybe one of my least favorites. I forgot just, the nature of this song and the way it's structured and everything is just really, really cool. And particularly the verses I really like. And I like how he says Youthanasia, like at the end of that chorus, he kind of, adds a little bit of a pizzazz to the way Dave says it and everything. So Youthanasia is a really solid title track, and one that, while in the past may put down a little bit lower in my rankings of this or whatever, it's kind of climbing up there. Then we go with another heavy hitter with I Thought I Knew It All with track number 10. And man, what an awesome one. This one is another one that has a hell of a chorus, very powerful, and another riff in the verses that just, this thing is just riff filled with greatness. Some of Megadeth's best riffs, period. And, as a lot of these other tracks on here, I Thought I Knew It All also has one of their best riffs, just straight up. It's such a damn good song. Then we go with track number 11, which may be tied with that, but it's either this one, which is Black Curtains, or Addicted to Chaos, which is my favorite off here. It's between those two, which are, I kind of go back and forth which one of those songs is my favorite, but they're 2 of my favorite Megadeth songs ever. Talk about a riff. This one's a monster. Black Curtains, come on, man. I've got Black Curtains right back there, But, this track is just, it's killer. That riff is just so heavy. This one just, he kicks into gear. One of my favorite Marty Friedman solos, period. going on in this one as he shreds over that main riff, and even like the riff and the verses and everything, and it just sounds so dark and kind of gritty when Dave sings Black Curtains, just such a badass song, one of my favorite Megadeth songs of all time, and I think it's a sleeper for a lot of people that they don't really. It's what the second last track on here, and I feel like it's kind of a forgotten gem and a deep cut in the Megadeth catalog. At least, I've not really ever seen anybody talk about it really that much, but it's one of my favorite Megadeth songs, period, is Black Curtains. Then we close things out with Victory, which, I might say this one's one of my least favorites as well. I would really say it's between this one, Family Tree, and maybe Blood of Heroes, but probably Victory is my least favorite, even though it's cool and it has like I like a lot of the callbacks to their old songs in it, with some of the titles, talking about, it says Countdown to Extinction at one point, Skin of My Teeth at one point, In My Darkest Hour, like a lot of cool callbacks, kind of like how Dio did on Lock Up the Wolves, on that song My Eyes, kind of has a lot of callbacks to old songs, album titles and such. Megadeth kind of did the same here, which is cool and everything. I like the lyrics, and it's kind of a quick little track, it's faster. Then maybe some of these on there with a little bit less of the groove that some of these other ones have. And the chorus is really hooking over everything. That's pretty cool. But it's just, it doesn't quite grasp me as much as some of these others do. And I think it's a solid closer. But I think maybe Black Curtains even would have been a better closer to just shut this thing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, close the curtains, But Victory is still a good song. I would probably go ahead and say that's my least favorite off here, but it's a good song. I don't think it was a bad closer or anything. It's just this album is so loaded that it's hard to kind of, decipher which ones I want to put where and everything. But yeah, guys, that is Megadeth's Youthanasia. I can't even say it. Megadeth's Youthanasia. Got to say it a couple times, gosh. But what an awesome album. It's just a top shelf heavy metal album of the 90s that I think is really underrated by people. A lot of times they just assume, 90s Megadeth, they got a little bit more melodic and things in there, a little bit less thrashy, so I'm not going to listen to it. Well, I think you're missing out if you're one of those people, because this album is freaking killer. Of course, next time we go on over to kind of, I'm going to include it in the rankings because it's different material and everything, and it's kind of it's listed in their discography as some of their mainline stuff. It's Hidden Treasures. 1995 has some stuff from Soundtrack, some covers they did and everything, and I think that material is strong enough to warrant having, its own review and even being included in the rankings. So stay tuned for that one, guys. Let me know what you think of Youthanasia, and what your experience with this album were you kind of, did you like the direction the band was going in at the time after Countdown to Extinction, or did you want them to go back to full-blown fast thrash metal going on? But, I personally love this album. So stay tuned for Hidden Treasures. That review is going to be dropping soon. And like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks so much, guys.